Good afternoon, councillors. Welcome to Mid-Suffolk District Council's Cabinet meeting. Apologies for absence.
None received.
Thank you. Declarations of interest by councillors? None. Thank you. Item 3, MCA/19/10, to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 12th of June, for accuracy only. Does anybody have any comments on pages 1 to 6? Councillor Whitehead.
Thank you. On page 2, section 8, at the very start, where the word says details of the favourable variances, that should really read details of the major variances, because all the major variances were explained, whether they were favourable or unfavourable. I mean, the reality is that I think most of them were favourable, bar the ICT, which I pointed out. But I wouldn't want to give the impression I just basically provided details of just the favourable variances. So if favourable could be changed to read major variances, please.
Thank you. Any others? Are you happy for me to sign them? No, thank you. Item 4, questions by councillors.
None received.
Item 5, to receive notification of petitions in accordance with the council's petition scheme.
None received.
Item 6, matters referred by the overview and scrutiny or the joint audit and standards committee.
There were none.
Item 7, forthcoming decisions list. Is it being handed out? Item 8, MCA/19/11, the Haughley Neighbourhood Plan. Can I ask the Cabinet Member for Planning to introduce the report?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This report updates Cabinet on the progress of the Haughley Neighbourhood Plan and sets out 2 recommendations. 1, that the Parish Council modify their plan in accordance with examiner recommendations, and 2, subject to satisfactory completion of the above, the plan be advanced to a referendum. This neighbourhood plan becomes the 6th such plan in Mid-Suffolk to be presented to Cabinet for approval to go forward to a local referendum. You may recall that a similar report which discussed Thurston's plan came before us just a few weeks ago. But returning to Haughley, officers have been working with the Parish Council to help them modify their plan in accordance with the examiner's report, and that work should be completed within the next couple of days. The Parish Council are therefore addressing the first recommendation. A reminder also that within the report before you, paragraph 4.2 summarises the key consultation dates. Paragraphs 4.3 to 4.11 cover the examination process with the examiner's key findings summarised at paragraph 4.7, and that paragraph 4.14 reminds us that if this plan receives a majority yes vote at the local referendum, the District Council is obliged to adopt the plan as part of our development plan framework for the designated area. I mean, that's it basically, so I commend this neighbourhood plan to you, and I ask that the Cabinet endorse the recommendations as set out in the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Byrne. I'd like to invite Councillor Eburn as... Oh, sorry. Councillor Brewster.
More than happy to second that proposal, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Councillor Eburn as the ward member for Haughley to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Councillor. There's been a lot of work put in to get to this stage, and interestingly, both by new residents to the parish and those that have lived there all their lives and their grandparents have lived there all their lives. And they've undertaken an awful lot of work looking at how the parish will evolve over the next 20 years. There have been some really good, effective engagement, and now we're looking to follow that through on having the housing outcomes that the parish needs, really, especially for ensuring that young people can stay within the village and that older people can downsize to dwellings within the village. So particularly following through on the housing outcomes, which obviously also will contribute towards the joint local plan. But also the other outcomes that I've mentioned in the neighbourhood plan that has been identified through the consultation and engagement with residents. So we're looking forward to a referendum as soon as possible, and hope that that will achieve a yes result, and we can take it forward from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? You're all very quiet this morning. Councillor Fleming.
Say something to liven things up. I haven't looked specifically at the draft local plan to see whether what Haughley is proposing in terms of its neighbourhood plan aspirations conforms with what's in the joint local plan. Can I just ask possibly our officers or Councillor Eburn whether that's the case?
If I may, just that it isn't mentioned within the joint local plan, and that's one of the things that we raised with Robert Hobbs, was that it hadn't been given how close it was to being made, and that this cabinet meeting's only kind of a couple of weeks after the joint local plan current draft has gone out for consultation. But we had met with Robert Hobbs last week to try and remedy that and make sure that was included. But the housing numbers that are in the that relate to the neighbourhood plan that are mentioned within the joint local plan are the same that are in that correspond to what's within the document here. But I don't know if officers might have a better solution.
All I was going to say was that through the neighbour plan they're allocating 3 sites, and one of those sites is duplicated through the joint local plan. And just briefly about the timing of the preparation of the Haughley neighbourhood, and Councillor Eburn talked about the work that's got into that, and there's been a lot of progress made during the course of last year, which is why and through this year, which is why the plan's with us now. And its timing in terms of how the neighbour plans come forward and where we were at the time with and where we are now with the emerging joint local plan. So there's some crossover between the two in terms of allocations, and then we'll just have to see how things pan out after that.
Okay, thank you. I gather that it's obviously an iterative process, but that's on track to work, which is the main thing. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've had a... Sorry, Councillor Eburn.
Sorry, Councillor Moore, I just wondered if I might ask a question. I just wondered that residents are keen for this to go forward as soon as possible. So I wondered when was a date likely for a referendum, if officers are able to answer that. Thank you.
I've been having ongoing discussions with the corporate manager for electoral services, so they're aware of the request to have the referendum effectively before the school term starts again. The parish council have made really good progress in terms of modifying the plan. There's a few last-minute things that need to be done over the next few days, so I'm helping them with some maps at the back, getting some maps into the back of the plan in a presentable format. We should be in a very good position, hopefully, to organise and announce a referendum date in the not too distant future. Just mindful of the fact that we've got to give a clear 28 working days notice of the referendum. So to achieve the date they want, we would ideally need to do something, I think, before the 19th of July. we should be okay with that, I'd have thought. So.
Thank you. So I've had a proposer and a seconder, and the recommendations that Haughley Parish Council be requested to make the necessary modifications to their neighbourhood plan in accordance with the examiner's recommendations, and then that subject to the satisfactory completion of the above to be agreed by the corporate manager for strategic planning, the neighbourhood plan be advanced to a local referendum covering the designated plan area. All in favour, please vote. Thank you. Thank you, and we'll get that out to referendum as soon as we can. Item 9, a resolution to exclude the public, which term includes the press. Do I need to read all that? Do I need to read all that? Okay. Do I have a proposer? Sorry, I'm proposing. Do I have a seconder? No. All in favour?